What's up guys, and welcome to another video. In this video we are finally going to see how to make a nice level like this in Unreal 4 with the landscape auto material. I will show you how easy it is as long as your computer is strong enough to handle it. And as you can see, we built a pretty nice level here with some pretty realistic water, I must say, which is pretty amazing to be able to do this. Like, I think I did this in like maybe 2 hours, but we are going to do something a little bit more fast now. Don't mind the details of this castle or what was supposed to become a castle, but yeah, as you can see, it's just some castle assets. Now I will leave a link to this project file in the description so you can like try and fool around with it yourself. Of course, you can't use it for any commercial project because there are some paid assets in it, and like you can fool around with it a little bit, but if you want to do something with it, then it's best to just buy the assets. And as you can see, the plants look very beautiful, I'd say, and pretty realistic for something that's pretty simple to set up. And I did also set up some wind on these trees. Yeah, and it's pretty nice. Like, it's okay. Pretty detailed here also. Like, not when I come too close, but of course when you're a character in the game, then you won't be able to get too close because the camera like stops you from seeing it from that close. This is like, if you want to create an open world, like of course you have to be careful. Like, I placed a lot of plants here and a lot of grass, but it is pretty heavy on your CPU and graphics card, so keep that in mind. So here you can see I just put in a simple character which looks pretty dark, and yeah, we will start building something like this. So let's just make a new level and see how far we can get. I will just go to file, new level, and let's just choose an empty level. Actually, I would want to just like choose the default. Thank you very much. Now let's just leave this here and go straight away to modes, to the landscape section, and we want to create a landscape with the landscape auto material that is in this project. Let's see, landscape, where do we have it? And it's this one, landscape auto master material blah 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 instance. Okay, yeah, this is the one, and I want it, what size? Overall resolution 505 505. Okay, and let's just create this world. Now this might take a little time, so if it takes too long I will just skip it, and then we will see. Okay, now the landscape is created, and as you can see, everything looks really weird and really black. Now this is a problem I had in the beginning when I just chose this material and I had no idea what I was doing, but now I know a little bit more. So as you can see, it automatically places some grass for you. You can of course change that, delete it, whatever you want to do, but for now let's just fix this weird blackness. And to do that, we go to the paint section in the landscape section, and we go all the way down to the auto material dash do not touch, and we will choose the first one. Now give it some time, and then we will just let's just choose all the other ones also. Okay, basically all the layers are already listed because I have this in my project as an asset, so finds the layers. Okay, and then we just right click the auto material slash do not touch, and we click fill layer. Now when we fill layer, it's basically what it does is that it fills the layer completely with this material and makes sure like nothing else is taking over everything. And now because we didn't build the lighting yet, you can see these weird lines. But because we are going to create like some kind of open world, even though this is very like a very small piece of land, well, it's not that small, but what we will do is we'll go to the world outliner, we'll go to light source, and to take these lines away, let's open the details section here. We will make it, instead of stationary or static, we will make it movable. So as you can see here, like the lighting is totally dynamic. Now the quality is like a bit yeah, worse, I would say, because here in the static lighting you can build the lighting into the textures. Basically what that means is that if we have a texture like you can see here, oh, let me leave this mode for a second. Okay, if you can see these textures here and basically all the shadow and lighting information, when your lighting is on static and you press build here, it will basically make one big texture map and save the lighting details in those textures and the shadow details. Now that makes it a lot easier on the system, but if in the end you would want to change it, then you would have to make another build again, and it's pretty slow. So we will just keep it on movable. Where are we? Oh, we go back to world outliner and we go back to light source. So we just made it movable, and if I'm correct, all the lines now should be gone, as you can see. Now also with the landscape auto material, it has an automatic LOD system. For the people who don't know what an LOD is, it's basically like the closer I am to the object, the higher the quality is, and when I move away, wait, why is it so fast? Let me do the camera speed a bit lower. The farther I go away, the lower the resolution gets, and slowly it disappears entirely. Like this prevents me from, even though I'm here and something that might be a kilometer away will not be spawned, like it won't be there when I'm over here, so it won't be so heavy on my CPU. Basically you can see there's like one big circle all around me. Now that's also a bit annoying, of course, because you don't want all these plants to spawn in the distance. And yeah, basically the player will think like his graphics card is not good enough or something, and he thinks his draw distance is too low. But there's all kinds of tricks that you can implement to like make the player not see this. Now we won't go over that in this video because we are just going to make a simple landscape. Now to do that, I just want to go a bit higher. Okay, and I'm going to go into the modes tab, into the landscape section, and we're going to click here on sculpt. Now within the sculpt section we have all kinds of options here. Let's just start with sculpt itself, and then if you click with the left mouse button here on the end, I can just make an like a nice encirclement like around the whole area. And as you can see, when I start sculpting and the ground gets higher, because of the landscape auto material, it automatically like is programmed to add in different textures when I go into the height. So if I make it higher here, you can see it will add different textures, different kinds of stones, and we'll put the grass on top, and it will also exactly know where to spawn the plants. As you can see here, these grass pieces don't spawn on these stone areas. So let's go off in the height again, and let's just finish off making a simple making a simple border to this land. Now, I do want my brush a little bit bigger, so let's open this up and make the brush like this. Okay, so we are just going to keep sculpting, even though like don't mind like that this is ugly at the moment. Like we will make it a little bit better looking when the video goes on. I just want to make something pretty fast. So okay, don't forget I'm just holding the left mouse button. By the way, if I click shift and then click the left mouse button, I can make it lower again. Let's do a little bit more here, a little bit more here. Okay, now this is all pretty rough, so we have another option over here which is smooth. Now with that I can just smooth it out a little bit so it's not that rough. You can see it will remove the stone areas a little bit, which is not exactly my intention, but it's good enough to show you the purpose of this tool. Let's just go over it very fast, like fast swipe, so it won't like remove everything in one go. Okay, now let's go down to the ground again. By the way, if some of you want like an absolute beginner tutorial, although even though like this is already pretty much for beginners, but because I didn't go over the whole interface, so if you guys want, I'll make a complete beginner tutorial. But there are a lot of YouTube videos that explain you about this, and you can also on Udemy, there are amazing courses that will help you to build some complete games and show you how to publish it on Steam and everything. So okay, so now we have some nice grass, okay, which is automatically spawned by the landscape auto material. Now let's just go into the content folder, click geometry here so we don't see the brush on the landscape, and we have some different options here. Now let's see first of all what happens when I click play. I see this character is already listed because it was in my other project already, which is pretty nice. Like that way I don't have to show it to you. But basically what will happen if you will open a new project in Unreal 4, it will show you some different options, and you can just click the third person option and it will give you a third person character to start with. And to switch out the third person character with this one, it's very easy. I will make a video about that also, but this one is mainly about building the landscape, so let's just leave it at that for now. Click escape, and I think straight away we are going into what do we have here? Forest collection. I am looking for, was it forest collection? Not 100% sure. Let's just see. Let's see these meshes and let's see these trees. Okay, let's try one out. Oh, yeah, it's this one for sure. Okay, now all these trees also have this LOD system, which means that if you go farther away, then they will like slowly get lower in resolution and in their quality. Okay, let's just place some different trees. And then put them a little bit lower. Okay. And we're going to build a nice little forest. Now, as you can see, it's pretty fast to make like, okay, I don't want the small one. Make like a basic forest if you have the right assets and something, and if you just want to make something simple prototype of a game, like, then you don't have to model all these trees by yourself, and you can always switch them out later for some yeah, for some trees that you yourself made, or whichever of your friends is doing some animations, or some 3D modeling. There are also a lot of amazing tutorials on how you can make these trees yourself in SpeedTree, and I guess in the future I will also do a tutorial on how to make these trees. Now I'm just like placing these trees and giving them a slight rotation to make them not look all the same. By the way, if you drag in one of these trees, okay, now you see I have the rotation panel. Now if I click W, it will go into this mode, for which I can move the tree down and up, and that is also this tab over here, select and translate objects. I can also click here, select and rotate, and here I can scale the objects. If I do this one, it goes down like this. If I do this one, it gets wider. But let's just Control Z that for a second. The best way, if you're scaling 3D models, it's the best to take it from the middle one so that it scales evenly when you make it bigger or smaller. And also make sure you don't make it too big, because of course the resolutions like will get lower quality, even though this one stays okay. But as you can see down here, like the quality goes down pretty fast when you scale it up. So let's not make it this big, even though I love those amazing super big trees. But these ones are already pretty big. Let's make it still, oh, Control Z, make it a bit smaller still. Yeah, and let's just fill up this area. And W, E, and R are the shortcuts for the rotation, scale, and movement. We're going to slowly fill up this area. If you want to copy a tree very fast, like you just click the tree, hold Alt, and move it, and then you can move the tree wherever you want. Make it a little bit lower, press E, then you can rotate it. Also to the side if you want a bit sideways trees, like, but I'll just leave it like this. Put some small one in here. And pretty soon, like, we will also go over some ground foliage, because of course the grass that the landscape auto material puts in, it's pretty nice, but we want some more details on the forest floor, like leaves and other bushes and plants, whatever we can find in the assets. Let's just keep placing these trees, and also of course don't forget to give each one a slight rotation so that it won't be obvious that they are just trees copied and pasted for whoever is walking through this forest. Put this one in here. This one is pretty nice, I must say. You can always see which tree you have selected, of course, by these obvious yellow lines. One in here. One in here. Now let's see what we got. Let's go down a bit to where the player would see this forest. Okay. Well, it's getting there. It's getting there. Now, I must honestly say that I think these leaves are definitely too green. Like, I would love to take the saturation a bit down on them, but there are so many tree models available. You know, the leaves look pretty high quality, but I just think they made them too green. But whatever, let's just pretend that that it's okay, because to edit those textures, yeah, I have to get into a different program, and it's not the goal for this tutorial. I love these roots and these trees. Okay, now, okay, I see I don't have to put in a wind effect, because I can see they're animated by themselves. If you have some 3D objects and they don't have any wind effect on them yet, what you can do is here, if you are in this area, you can just type wind, and then you have a wind directional source, and you can just drag it into your scene, and the wind will be added. And over here in the detail tab, as you can see, you can edit. Oh, you can edit the strength of the wind, the speed, and the gust. Like, there's a lot of settings you can edit, but I will just delete it for now, because the wind that's on the trees right now is good enough for me. Okay, as you can see, we are building our forest pretty fast with just 8 trees. Okay, I don't want it too tight, because those are pretty big trees and they don't actually grow that close to each other in the, yeah, like in real life, in nature. So you want to keep it a bit realistic. If you put them all close together, it seems like a nice tight forest, but yeah, it's not very realistic. Like, most of the times, like, real forests are filled up with bushes in between the trees, which make it seem, at least when you remember this forest, like a very full grown forest, but a lot of times it's just bushes and stuff on the ground that's growing up. Okay, also a good way of obscuring like the line of where the grass spawns is to put uh, some noise, how do I say, like small hills in your ground, and of course trees, mountains, houses, whatever you have, to obstruct their field of view so that they don't get too far. But that's of course only a small solution, but it's a yeah, easy way for the engine or for your computer to handle all the amounts of grass, because you can basically tell the engine to only spawn grass that you can actually see. That won't like spawn grass behind this mountain because there's no need for it. Okay, our forest is coming along pretty nice, I must say. These hills look very ugly. So let's put in some small noise. We are going to the landscape section again. We're going down. Oh, let's open it up a bit. Let's go to sculpt, sorry. And instead of smooth, we are going to select the noise brush. Now this, as you will see, I will put the strength down a lot though, because this is, as you can see, oh, wow, that's too crazy. Let's do Control Z, Control Z. I think I just, okay, very fast back to the geometry section and pull these trees up again because I just pulled the ground up and the trees basically disappeared. It's very easy to miss these small things also, like you pull a tree up and then suddenly you left a big gap here, which is not good. So let's push it down a little bit more. What did I do here? The tree is half into the ground. There's actually a very easy way to make some bushes on the ground. A lot of people actually do it. Well, not in like big AAA games, but when you have some thinner trees with some thinner branches, you can basically just put the trees into the ground like a third of the way, and then you will have like bushes. But with these trees, that is not good because they're actually very thick tree stems. So, oh, can already see that popping out a bit on the side. Bring it back a bit like this and to the side so that's not too close to this tree. Okay, now yeah, we want some more hills for sure. Back to the landscape section, and we will choose the sculpt tool. Actually, I think the noise was a bit too hard what I did last time. Let's make the brush size a bit smaller, and let's make some small hills. Later on you can really like make this more varied by just putting in some stones, some bushes, but I will show you a very easy way to put in all your foliage which is not connected to the landscape auto material or whatever. You will have to put them in like one by one, but I will show you a way that you can just like paint them in, all these objects. Okay, so we are getting some nice hills. Very nice, very nice. Put some over there also. Oh, a bit lower. Sorry for that. Okay, so this is starting to look pretty nice, I must say. Yeah. So now we want to paint in some foliage. Now to do that, we have in this section the foliage section. So first of all, we went to here to, if you want to add wind and all kinds of 3D objects, which I didn't show yet, but it's not important for this tutorial. Then we have the landscape section, which will make it able for you to edit the landscape, like to sculpt it. We have the flatten tool. You'll just have to try all these out. The flatten tool, basically what it does is, if you have your brush, let me show it in a different section. You have your brush, basically where the brush is selected right now. If I click the left mouse button and I will drag it, it will flatten everything to that height. So as you can see, I can just go to here now, or on top of it, and drag it out, and will make everything on that height. Okay, so let's just leave it like that. Actually doesn't look too bad, but Definitely needs a fix. Okay, so we are going to the foliage section now, and as you can see, it says here drop foliage. So let's go back into the content folder, and again in the same forest collection folder, and go to foliage. No, actually we are going to mesh and plants. Now as you can see, we have a lot of plants here, but actually I wanted to start with some leaves. Put some leaves on the floor, and I think it is actually in the foliage section. I'm correct. 6 stones. No, it is not. Let's see what happens if I just type here leaf. Leaf, 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 leaf. And I can't find it. Let's delete it. Now it's looking for singular leaves. We need the actual leaves themselves. Let's check it out again. Meshes. We have plants, we have debris. No, but also, of course, a must. Tree stumps. You can just play around with these folders, by the way. Sorry, we are in the foliage section, so let's not fool around. Textures, meshes, cover, and here we have our leaves. So let's just add them in like this. And now, because I added them in here and they are selected automatically, I can just start painting them in. Let's see what happens. Very nice. They are painted on the floor. Let's just start painting them in all over the forest, just in a random way. But we do want like a lot of them around the trees, because they make everything look a lot better. And then after this we will put some more foliage on top of this to give it a nice blend. Like, you don't want to make it too obvious, like all these leaves, but it's just like a nice base layer. Like, these forest floors are built up of a lot of layers when you're building them clean. Like, also when you don't have the landscape auto material, which automatically spans this grass for you, you just basically have to paint in your texture, which is like the grass or the forest or the ground texture, which is basically just a 2D picture with some maps to make it like more 3D and stuff, to give it more depth. You paint them on, and then you would just paint the foliage in like this, like the grass and everything. But I like the landscape auto material because it is already very nicely set up with its nice draw distance and the LOD system, so I like that. Okay, so we are painting in some nice leaves. I think that is enough for now. Very nice. Okay, now let's put in some other foliage. Let's just deselect these ones. What is this? Moss. Do I like it? Let's put in some moss. Okay, did I put it in already? Yeah. So these are selected, these are not. I do, however, want to put the density a bit lower here. You can put the density settings. Let's put it to 1/10 of what it was. Also 10. I don't want too much of this. And here also 10. Let's see what happens. Yeah, as you can see, placing them randomly over the ground. Very nice, very nice. Okay, let's paint them in. Here you can already see the numbers, like as you can see 92, 78, 90. Here you can see I actually put like 10,000 3D models on the floor. So do keep in mind this can be pretty taxing for your computer if you're using some complicated 3D models. So be careful with them. Okay, we're just painting them throughout the forest ground. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now let's deselect them because we don't want too much of those. Let's go back to meshes and let's go to plants. Now here we have all the nice stuff. So I think I want to start with the lower plants. Let's just put them in. Okay. Do keep in mind, guys, like I'm putting a lot of stuff in here, but when you're actually making a game, you really want to keep optimization in mind. Like if you place too much of this, like it will get very heavy, like I said before. So be careful. But if you're just trying to make a very nice scene for your portfolio, then yeah, you don't have all those limits because you can just render it out very slowly, frame for frame, in like 4K resolution or whatever you want, even 8K. Now I just painted this and you can see how it filled up this whole area. Look at the density. But it's pretty much, yeah, very amazing. Actually, it makes the ground very nice and wild. I don't want to, I would want to like leave some, I don't want to put it like everywhere. So normally I would put the density lower on all these kind, but I just want to like make some fast brushes. Whoop. With E and Q and right mouse button hold in, you can go lower and higher. So if you want to go very low to ground, let's see it like this. Whoop. Okay, very nice. Now we put around like 50 to 2500 models of those in here. So let's deselect them and put in some higher foliage. Now let's see, which ones do we have? We have this one, we have this one, and this one, and this one. Okay, now here, can I make my brush size any smaller? Yes. So I just, ooh, some nice bushes around the trees. Pretty nice. A nice way also to blend where the tree goes into the floor, to give it a little bit like an easier blend, because sometimes it can look pretty harsh and how it's going in the floor, especially when your trees has like these the very wide bases. That looks a bit weird, looks a bit unnatural sometimes. Let's just paint them in. Do they have the wind effect on them? Yeah, they do. Okay. I want some areas that are completely covered with the bush. Also, when you're creating a pathway through your forest, this is an easy way to like make it very obvious what the pathway is. We're not trying a pathway at the moment, but as you can see, I'm really doing some random brush strokes throughout the forest, trying to keep it as random as possible, because in nature it's also pretty random, and when you start doing everything like very yeah, straight and perfect, like it will get a more man-made feeling to it, and actually like forests are like pretty wild. Okay, our forest is coming nicely together. Okay, now let's see that from a distance. I think I want our forest, I think I want our sun to be a bit lower, and within the color grading section I want to give it a nice orange teal tint to it. So let's just check out the light source. Let's see it from here. Oh, we are going into the world outliner where all the objects that I placed in this level are listed. Very unorganized for now, of course. As you can see, normally you could put this nice in folders, but for now I didn't do it. I'm going to the light source and select it if I can. Oh, let's go to the place folder, world outline, and select light source, and I will just put it down a little bit. As you can see, we are getting a nice shade effect. And let's check out our sun. Our sun is still high, even though I placed it the light source lower, in a lower angle. So if I go to sky sphere and click refresh material, our sun will be placed in the right location. And then I want to go to light source again and give our light color here a nice orange teal tint to it. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Don't want to overkill it. Let's keep it like that. Sky nice and orange. Okay. Yeah. Already pretty nice, pretty nice. Okay. Click OK. Now, as you can see, our forest scene came together in like, what is it, like 30 minutes? Something like that. Now, if we want to go on, we can go to content. Let's say we want to build something nice here. Like our castle. I should actually put in some more assets for building a house. I actually think we are going to do that in the next video. Now, as you can see here, we built a pretty nice forest. Let's see how it looks in the play. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a pretty realistic forest. This is also what I love about Unreal. It's pretty easy to create something amazing looking pretty fast. Texture streaming pool over. Okay, I have to build the texture streaming pool. I will show you guys in the next video how to fix that if you get that. Of course, I've been placing so many textures and 3D models and so much stuff in this level, so it's freaking out a bit, but that's okay. Always a fix for that and a bit of optimization. So guys, we made a pretty amazing forest very fast. We made some hills. I showed you a little bit how to use the landscape tool. If you want me to go like more into detail, then yeah, then just tell me in the comment section. I will make like a detailed video from step 1 how to create these amazing stuff. Like if you have any suggestions on what kind of tutorials do you want, like do you want me to show you how to build these 3D models like these trees from zero, or these grass models, and or how to do it without the landscape auto material, for if I didn't explain it like obviously yet. Landscape auto material is like an asset you can buy, or even in some places get for free. It's basically a material that you can put on the landscape that automatically spawns grass for you, and when you start sculpting the land, it will automatically place textures like stone, snow, or grass, whatever you assigned in the landscape material. But even if you put it in like straight away as you get it, will already have these basic, well, not that basic, pretty amazing textures in it by itself. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like and tell me in the comment section whatever you would like to see. Do you want to see me build a house, or how to build a character that can do amazing attacks, or what more options do we have? Yeah, like creating enemies with artificial intelligence that will try to attack you, quest systems. I want to slowly like start making a lot of amazing tutorials for the Unreal Engine. And so yeah, well, basically that's it. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.